I picked this lock the other day using the City Rake to open it, and posted up a quick video. And Roy Salmons has asked for a little bit more in-depth explanation about the method and how I opened it. It started off as a bit of a novelty method, and actually it is quite viable to try and open dimple lock cylinders using this method. I'm going to pop a tension wrench in there, and I'm going to take tension out of the equation. So what I've got there is literally just a very softly stretched rubber band, and I'm going to use the City Rake, and the pins inside this lock form a little bit of a V shape inside the cylinder inside the Bible. So there are effectively two rows of pins, and they're very slightly set apart, which means that if you go for a direct attack straight down the middle, you might miss the right hand bank, you might miss the left hand bank, you may not necessarily get the lock open. So to compensate for that, the way that I pick it is to have the pick down one side of the lock, and then I go down the opposite side of the lock to work on the pins. Now the City Rake is possibly not so much of a raking action on this lock, but more of a pop it in, twist it, move it in and out as you're twisting it, and the pins that are ready to set will be set, and the pins that aren't obviously will pop back up again. So it's a question really of a very light tension, but also the way that you actually use the City Rake. So what I'm going to do is going to pop that in there, and I'm literally going to twist it, move it in and out. This is the thumb turn version of this lock, and if I push the pick in and it pops back out again, you can see the spring at the back of the lock. The thumb turn versions of these tend to have 9 pins, so you have to reach right into the back of the lock there and just wiggle around quite randomly, depressing the pins and looking for a kick on the cylinder. So I'm now going to go on the other side, and I'm going to do the same thing. So to the back, going to give it a wiggle, give it a rotation, and what will happen is if I keep alternating between those two sides, when this lock is ready, it will give us a little bit of a kick like that. And you can see now that the lock is actually, in fact, I've lost the tension there. Let me just tighten that up a fraction. It is so light. Let's go back in again. There we go. So what you can see is the cylinder's kicked, because what's happened is I've set all of the key pins that move down into the Bible, and now there are a set of sliders that need to be slid across from the left-hand side of the lock here, which are effectively operating on a sidebar to prevent the lock from opening. So I'm going to get just a generic slider tool, and I'm going to pop that in down that left-hand side. I'm going to slide it in there all the way to the back until I can feel the spring. There it is. And then I'm literally going to wiggle it side to side, in and out. And if the passage of this is being blocked by the sliders, then that's a good sign. It means that the sliders are binding, and therefore the lock is ready to open, which it has just done. There we go. So we now have the lock open, and so literally by using very, very gentle tension, rocking in and out to the left and right hand side with the City Rake, and then once we get that little kick and the cylinder rotates and it then sits on the sidebar and the sliders, popping a slider tool in, giving that a wiggle as well, and then as you can see, it's got us the open on the lock.